Hello guys, very good morning. This is L.K. Tripathi, SST teacher from LPM Public School, Bola Bazar, Gorakhpur. My dear children, in this new video, we are going to discuss about a house loan. In the previous videos, we have discussed about different types of loans and different types of ways to receive the loans. This new video will enable us to know about the house loan. Nowadays, I mean to say that at present this is highly required for all the people, especially living in the urban areas. Those who are indulged in business, services, and other type of financial activities, they get the loan easily from the banks because they have sufficient amount or sufficient documents of property to show before the banks and before the cooperatives to get the loans. But this is difficult for the poor people and those who are living in the rural areas. Not they have different types of sources of income. They fall in trouble to get the house loan. Anyway, let us discuss about the house loan. What is this and how do we get from? Megha has taken a loan of rupees 5 lakhs from the bank to purchase a house. The annual interest rate on the loan is 12% and the loan is to be repaid in 10 years in monthly installment. Megha is a candidate. She has taken 5 lakhs rupees loan from the bank to manage a house. The interest rate of the amount is 12% and this is fixed that she has to pay all the loans within 10 years with the monthly installments. Megha had to submit to the bank documents showing her employment record and salary before the bank agreed to give her the loan. What we discussed earlier just now, that before taking loan, the consumer has to submit some authentic documents or records, whatever she has. If a person is a government employee or employed in a reputed institution or any sector, so they get the loan easily. Simply they have to show their employment record and they can get the loan. And the salary which he draws, it is reduced automatically from the bank in the form of monthly installment. The bank retained as collateral the papers of the new house, which will be returned to Megha only when she repays the entire loan with interest. And what the documents is presented before the banks or before the institution to get the loan after repaid the entire loan, the submitted documents is returned to the consumer without any restriction or without any further inquiry. Now here is a box. What you have studied, you have to fill it. Fill the following details of Megha's housing loan. What is the loan amount? Just you start 10 lakh rupees. Duration of loan 5 lakh rupees. Duration of loan 10 years. Documents require employment documents, interest rate that is mentioned above, mode of repayment from the salary, collateral, employment documents. All these such types of formalities are to be paid before the bank before receiving the loan. Interest rate, collateral and documentation requirement and the mode of repayment together comprise what is called the terms of credit. The terms of credit vary substantially from one credit arrangement to another. They may vary depending on the nature of the lender and the borrower. The next section will provide examples of the varying terms of credit in different credit arrangements. A variety of credit arrangement. किस तरह की वैरायटीज होती हैं? Rohit and Ranjan had finished reading about the terms of credit in class. They were eager to know the various credit arrangements that existed in their area. Who were the people who provided credit? Who were the borrowers? What were the terms of credit? They decided to talk to some people in their village. Read what they record. 15 November 2019. We head directly for the fields where most farmers and laborers would be working at this time of the day. The fields are planted with potato crops. We first meet Shamal, a small farmer in Shonpur, a small irrigated village. Shamal tells us that every season he needs loans for cultivation on his 1.5 acres of land. Till a few years back, he would borrow money from the village moneylender at the interest rate of 5% per month. For the last few years, Shamal has been borrowing from an agricultural trader in the village at an interest rate of 3% per month. At the beginning of the cropping season, the trader supplies the farm inputs on credit, which is to be repaid when the crops are ready for harvest. Besides the interest charged on the loan, the trader also makes the farmers promise to sell the crop to him. This way, the trader can ensure that the money is repaid promptly. Also, since the crop prices are low after the harvest, the trader is able to make a profit from buying the crop at a low price from the farmers and then selling it later when the price has risen. We next meet Arun, who is supervising the work of one farm laborer. Arun has 7 acres of land. He is one of the few persons in Sonpur to receive bank loan for cultivation. The interest rate on that loan is 8.5% per annum and can be repaid any time in the next 3 years. Arun plans to repay the loan after harvest by selling a part of the crop. He then intends to store the rest of the potatoes in a cold storage and apply for a fresh loan from the bank against the cold storage receipt. The bank offers this facility to farmers who have taken crop loans from them. Rama is working in a neighboring field. She works as an agricultural laborer. There are several months in the year when Rama has no work and needs credit to meet the daily expenses. Expenses on sudden illness or functions in the family are also met through loans. Rama has to depend on her employer, a medium landowner in Sonpur, for credit. The landowner charges an interest rate of 5% per month. Rama repays the money by working for the landowner. Most of the time, Rama has to take a fresh loan before the previous loan has been repaid. At present, she wants the landowner rupees 5,000. Though the landowner does not treat her well, she continues to work for him since she can get loans from him when in need. Rama tells us that the only source of credit for the landless people in Sonpur are the landowner employers. Loans from cooperatives. Besides banks, the other major source of Cheap credit in rural areas are the cooperative societies. Members of a cooperative pool their resources for cooperation in certain areas. There are several types of cooperatives possible, such as farmers' cooperatives, weavers' cooperatives, industrial workers' cooperatives, etc. Krishak cooperative functions in a village not very far away from Sonpur. It has 2,300 farmers as members. It accepts deposits from its members. With these deposits as collateral, the cooperative has obtained a large loan from the bank. These funds are used to provide loans to members. Once these loans are repaid, another round of lending can take place. Krishak Cooperative provides loans for the purchase of agricultural implements, loans for cultivation and agricultural trade, fisheries loans, loans for construction of houses, and for a variety of other expenses. Formal sector credit in India. We have seen in the above examples that people obtain loans from various sources. The various types of loans can be conveniently grouped as formal sector loans and informal sector loans. Among the former are loans from banks and cooperatives. The informal lenders include money lenders, traders, employers, relatives, and friends, etc. In graph 1, you can see the various sources of credit to rural households in India. In more credit coming from the formal sectors or the informal sectors. The Reserve Bank of India supervises the functioning of formal sources of loans. For instance, we have seen that the banks maintain a minimum cash balance out of the deposits they receive. The RBI monitors the banks in actually maintaining cash balance. Similarly, the RBI sees that the banks give loan not just to profit making businesses and traders but also to small cultivators, small scale industries, to small borrowers, etc. Periodically, banks have to submit information to the RBI on how much they are lending to women, at what interest rate, etc. There is no organization which supervises the credit activities of lenders in the informal sector. They can lend at whatever interest rate they choose. There is no one to stop them from using unfair means to get their money back. Compared to the formal lenders, most of the informal lenders charge a much higher interest on loans. Thus, the cost to the borrower of informal loans is much higher. Higher cost of borrowing means a large part of the earning of the borrowers is used to repay the loan. Hence, borrowers have less income left for themselves. In certain cases, the high interest rate for borrowing can mean that the amount to be repaid is greater than the income of the borrower. This could lead to increasing debt and debt trap. Also, people who might wish to start an enterprise by borrowing may not do so because of the high cost of borrowing. For these reasons, bank and cooperative societies need to lend more. This should lead to higher incomes, and many people could they then borrow cheaply for a variety of needs. They could grow crops, do business, set up small scale industries, etc. They could set up new industries or trade in goods. Cheap and affordable credit is crucial for the country's development. Formal and informal credit, who gets what? Graph 2 shows the importance of formal and informal sources of credit for people in urban areas. The people are divided into four groups from poor to rich as shown in the figure. You can see that 85% of the loans taken by poor households in the urban areas are from informal sources. Compare this with the rich urban households. What do you find? Only 10% of their loans are from informal sources, while 90% are from formal sources. A similar pattern is also found in rural areas. The rich households are availing cheap credits from formal lenders, whereas the poor household have to pay a large amount for borrowing. What does all this suggest? First, the formal sector still meets only about half of the total credit needs of the rural people. The remaining credit needs are met from informal sources. And graph 2 clearly shows of all the loans taken by urban household, what percentage was formal and what percentage was informal. Both are disguised here. Poor households 15% to 85%, 47%, 53%. This is household with few assets. Well-off households, well-equipped, 28% to 72%. Rich household, 10% to 90%. This is the urban household percentage in the formal and informal sectors. Blue, percent of loans from the informal sectors. Purple, percent of loans from the formal sectors. This is shown clearly in this graph. Most loans from informal lenders carry a very high interest rate and do little to increase the income of the borrowers. Thus, it is necessary that banks and cooperatives increase their lending, particularly in the rural areas, so that the dependence on informal sources of credit reduces. In this way, we have seen too much about the house loans, about other type of loans, method to repay the loans, and who takes more loan from the banks and how do they pay. All these things we have come to know through this discussion. Next discussion will be taking place in the next video. Till then, goodbye.